Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk to you about top 20 most famous last words in history. Man is mortal, but the work of them is immortal. Heroes and their speech live forever among the heart of people. Nobody knows what happened in human minds, but all the people would become most honest at their 11th hours. The last word of human is most important as well as emotional. Basically, the word is said by victim people when they wait in bed for eternal death. Here are top 20 most famous last words in history. Number 1. Don't you dare ask God to help me. Joan Crawford, a famous actress in her time, was died in a hospital bed on May 1977. At the last moment of her life, there have two nurses to take care of her. In front of them, she said her last word, "Don't you dare ask God to help us," at dying moment. Number 2. Hey fellas, how about this for a headline for tomorrow's paper French fries? James Donald French, an American murderer as well as criminal, was sentenced to death after killing his own cellmates in prison on August 10 in 1966. He pronounced the last words, "Hey fellas, how about this for a headline for tomorrow's paper French fries?" loudly in front of the praised journalist who was present to be the witness of his execution. Number 3. Hit the water, hit the water, hit the water. Jane Dornaker was an American rock musician and actress. She died in an aircraft crash in Hudson River in New York. She was on live traffic report for national radio while she was crashed. At the moment of crashing the aircraft, she said again and again, "Hit the water, hit the water, hit the water." That was her last words. However, her mutilated body was discovered in Hudson River after the crash. Number 4. Home to the palace to die. Alexander II, a great leader of Russia, was assassinated by a group of anarchists. After the bombing attack by assassination, his guards were found mutilated body of him in the seat of his carriage while he was saying, "Home is the palace to die." After listening to the last word, the guards brought back his mutilated body in the home where he stopped the last breath. Number 5. I can't sleep. "I can't sleep" was the last words of Sir James Matthew Barrie, a Scottish novelist. The word was said in front of Peter Pan, a famous author, while he was staying there and nursed James until his death in London, England on June 19, 1937. Though he died in London, the novelist was buried in Kirriemore Cemetery in Scotland. Number 6. I pray you to bear me witness that I meet my fate like a brave man. Major John Andrea was sentenced to death for being a British spy. The Judicial Court of America was proved guilty of him and verdict to death by hanging. At the moment of hanging, he was given an opportunity to pronounce his last word. As a response, he pronounced his last word before his fellow men. "I pray you to bear me witness that I meet my fate like a brave man." At the time, his eyes were tied with a white handkerchief. Number 7. I shall be the Christ and that is enough. What would the occupation probably be in the next generation? The question was asked by the wife of famous chemical scientist Michael Faraday. Before going total unconscious, Michael replied, "I shall be the Christ and that is enough," in response to his wife's question. Number 8. I should have never switched from Scotch to Martinis. The last words of Hollywood superstar and actor Humphrey Bogart was, "I should have never switched from Scotch to Martinis." He spoke the word in front of his wife and children. He died a few seconds after saying his last words on January 22, 1957. Number 9. I'd rather be fishing. Jimmy L. Glass was a kidnapper and murderer who was sentenced to death for killing the couple Newton and Earline Brown in 1982. When he was taken to the electric chair, that time he spoke his last word, "I'd rather be fishing," on June 12, 1987. Number 10. I'm going away tonight. "I am going away tonight" is the most heartbroken speech that was spoken by James Brown at the last moment of his death. His family was the witness of his last words on James' deathbed at the age of his 73. Number 11. Is it not meningitis? Louisa May Alcott was an American novelist. She had been suffering from an ailing disease. When she was on her deathbed, he spoke the speech, "Is it not meningitis?" Number 12. No, you certainly can't. No, you certainly can't was the last words of the American President John F. Kennedy in response to John Connolly's wife Nellie Connolly saying, "You certainly cannot say that. The people of Dallas haven't given you a nice welcome, Mr. President." At the moments came back with his answer, he was fatally assassinated. Number 13. Pardon me, sir, I did not do it on purpose. Queen Mary Antoinette was convicted of treachery and she was sentenced to death by her husband, King Louis of France at the time of the French Revolution. When she was the scaffold for executing, she unconsciously stepped the foot of her executioner and pardoned him by saying these words before execution. Number 14. Please don't let me fall. Mary Elizabeth Jenkins Surratt was convicted to treachery and involved to assassinate the US President Abraham Lincoln. That's why she was executed in public in 1865. At the time of hanging her, she spoke the words, "Please don't let me fall." Number 15. Put out the bloody cigarette. During the First World War, Hector Hugh Monroe said the sentences to his co-officer. The co-officer was smoking when they were very near to the opponents. He said these words because the opponents could track them to see the smoke. Anyway, the opponents tracked them and shot them. Before dying, it was his last sentence. Number 16. These are my last words, and I am certain that my sacrifice will not be in vain. I am certain that at the very least, it will be a moral lesson that will punish felony, cowardice, and treason. These last words were spoken by Salvador Allende, a great military man, before his fellow other soldiers and cops. After finishing his words, he got out a gun from his grab and shot himself in the head. Number 17. This is the last of earth, I am content. A former president of the America, John Quincy Adams, was pronounced, "This is the last of earth, I am content." These last words in February 1884 on his deathbed. Number 18. Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was the last words by the first Vice President of America, John Adams. At the time of passing away, he pronounced the phrase on July 4 in 1926. Number 19. To the strongest. To the strongest was the last word of Alexander the Great. He spoke out the words few minutes before his death to make his troops strong and take commands on his empire. And number 20. Tomorrow I shall no longer be here. Tomorrow I shall no longer be here was the last word of Nostradamus, a French astrologist and author. It was believed that he had predicted his own death. However, he had a conversation with Henrietta, his wife. At the dying moments, he said the words in front of his wife. Thank you so very much for watching, everyone. Wait for my next video. Till then, take care. Goodbye.